June. Rainbow Loom has returned with a renewed vigor to try and rid the location of Muslim stalkers. And hopefully, with their defeat, Ryan's relationship can resume. Rainbow Loom becomes extremely militant and aggressive towards all involved, up to potentially Rainbow Loom's own dad. Who knows? The night Rainbow Loom returned after seeing Samantha, Rainbow Loom was so exhausted, Rainbow Loom crashed upon ordering pizza. As Rainbow Loom was sleeping a short time, Rainbow Loom was possessed by a violent demonic nightmare involving a dark web location known as the Deku Playground, involving pedophilia, as well as fraudulent imagery of a male, and you remember Ryan refers to herself as a Deku Princess, of a male which looks superficially like me, but somewhat more ugly and adult, being possessed visually and audibly by Muhammad. It was like, Muhammad. And I bolt awake, right, on that word. And you can see, like, my face, like, all, like, fucking, like it was a fucking freak horror film, right? Like, just, like, blurred, right? It's fucking gross. I bolt awake on that word with sweat running down my face. Anyways, all of June was mostly a war of attrition between myself and the Muslim community. Bin Laden. Which slowly revealed to me the pedophile community throughout June and into July and all that. During this time in particular, the violent imagery regarding Samantha /Ryan /the Deku Princess escalates exponentially in consistency and vividness. The pedophiles feel they are closing in. I am forced to witness her murder in the format of a snuff movie. Several occasions, for example. Very extremely graphically and genuinely. Which would then turn out to have been faked. One time she stabbed herself in the room above mine. One time she was fed drugs and then sawed up while still talking in a nearby house. One time it was depicted she had punched the psychopath, which had then shattered all the bones in her hand, and she had been rushed to the hospital. It was the most graphic, disturbing shit. Nothing other than the most psychopathically wretched forms of villainy could come up with. At all times. During this era, it is also vividly asserted multiple times that she is in communication with psychopaths or has been kidnapped. July. No, fuck yourself, nigger. You can't fuck a minor. Early July is when I am finally so overcome by the reckless torture violence that I am possessed in a moment to pick up a nearby sharp, a steak knife, and began slicing blindly at my upper left arm. Roughly 40 or 50 incisions were made, and I passed out like that while bleeding into the sheets. Not long thereafter, my door bursts open suddenly as I'm sitting in my room writing on my laptop. Hi, police. Guelph Police. Form 2, welcome to Homewood Health Psychiatric Ward. The rest of July was spent proving I did not have psychosis, which was about a little over a week and a half. I emerged on a PTSD medication early August. August. The first 2 weeks of August, Rainbow Loom doesn't communicate with Samantha very much, but is afraid to approach the situation as there is little to no violence, and Rainbow Loom is afraid that the violence will restart. Maybe she is safer, right, if Rainbow Loom just tries to stay away. However, by the second week, there has been a bit of violence, and Rainbow Loom has been forced to yell 1 or 2 times to stop it. Typically thinking the thing shits itself and runs away, but then it starts consistently reemerging. By week 3 in August, Ryans are talking again. At this point, something has started to romanticize being the Zakalis in Rainbow Loom and Samantha's children's book series. The totally demonic, 100% possessive, 100% destructive illusion that tries to take over the universe. Like, they're literally saying to be that and taking ownership of that character thing that I created in my short story. No, book series, yes. They have formed a cult around it, this thing. They want to be that. To me. And I'm supposed to be Seamus Taylor, Darian Lander. The main character. And she's Samantha Hart May Lander, the other main character. And there's many more characters. But they want to be the big bad guy in the kids' book series. But the Zakalis has decided that actually the Zakalis in the book series represents the Muhammad from the cult of Islam. And the younger Ryan is the Aisha to his Muhammad. Now they have decided this. The jihadists have gotten all riled up again. Now he's the Muhammad, or she's the Muhammad, or it's the Muhammad, or what's the Muhammad again? Everything they would say is the Muhammad. And then Ryan's the Aisha, the little girl. It's all going to kill her, they're saying. As if they're merely observers and not driving that conclusion. Christians have started to become militantly anti-Islam, and the effects can be seen throughout the world. People are speaking openly about how the Muslims are trying to repeat historical religious events associated with pedophilia. And it is very disgusting. The last 2 weeks of August become very chaotic as the unit above has been listed for rent but is still empty. But is now loudly occupied almost all the time by a rotating gang of perhaps about 50 Mr. Muhammads, anonymously, and their wives, and perhaps a young girl on a circumstance. All anonymous, all addressing Ryan with access to his thoughts, just random strangers, Muslims, all Muslims. Ryan managed to stay mostly calm and takes care of it by writing, but has a few outbursts, but is still constantly being raped, but growing used to it by now.